The best trading challenge available to traders just like you and me, the monthly challenge that means you get paid success fees for trading profitably and consistently, just got a whole lot better. Stay tuned. The monthly trading challenge run by Darwinex is now over 7 years old, and during that time it's allocated seed capital in the hundreds of millions of dollars to the best trading strategies that have competed. Over its life, this trading challenge, known as DarwinIA, has evolved and gone through many changes, and just last week this happened again, making DarwinIA the best it's ever been. Let's take a look at some of the changes. Let's start with the headline figures. As Darwinex has grown over recent years, so too has the monthly allocation amount of notional seed capital, and most recently this stood at 7.5 million euros per month. So get ready for it, this has now increased to 10 million euros per month. But even better is the fact that more traders will be able to take advantage of this, since the number of strategies able to secure a seed capital amount each month is going from 120 up to 150. But in addition to these increases, there's also been a complete overhaul of the user interface that supports DarwinIA. Now this is cram-packed full of metrics to help traders manage their participation in the challenge, and I'm going to be covering this in a lot of detail in the next episode, where I'll be going through each of these charts, explaining its relevance, how they can be used, and most importantly, how they can give each trader insights into their participation and what they can do to improve their competitiveness. So make sure you tune into that next episode, but for the remainder of this episode I want to look at a monetary example of how DarwinIA works, because sometimes this can be a little confusing. And then I'm also going to look at some of the conditions, some of which have changed and some which are the same. So let's start with this example. Now, out of that 10 million euros, the largest amount is allocated obviously to the trader that comes in position number 1. And the maximum possible allocation for this is 500,000 euros. And then as you go down the rankings of those 150 qualifying positions, that amount obviously reduces. But you'll get these maximum amounts if your account equity is over a certain level, and we'll look at that later. But in our example here, let's just look at a trader who managed to secure 250,000 euros. So the rules of DarwinIA dictate that you keep that allocation, regardless of how much it is, for a period of 6 months. And effectively, the Darwin that sits behind your trading account is trading this amount of capital for each and every month during that 6-month period. So let's say that over the 6 months, the trader manages to produce a 10% return on their Darwin. So just to be absolutely clear here, the 250 isn't a monetary sum that this trader has won, it's an allocation of capital that the trader can now trade in addition to their own equity for that period of 6 months. But this is the good part. If you generate a profit on that capital, you receive personally a 15% success fee of that profit. And this is real money that's delivered directly to your Darwinex account for you to do with as you please. If you want to, you can withdraw that to your bank account and spend it on Christmas presents for your family. It's your money. So it's an actual monetary payment to you personally. So let's run through this example now. As we said, the trader managed to secure 250,000 euros of seed capital. And if they manage to grow that by 10% over the next 6 months, that would equate to 25,000 euros. But then the interesting bit is the 15% success fee, which in this case equates to 3,750 euros, which will be paid directly into your Darwinex wallet for you to either reinvest in your own trading accounts or withdraw. Now the implications of this for traders is huge. Think about it. Let's say that this trader only had 10,000 euros in their own trading account. So as well as being able to grow that account by, let's say, 10%, they've made an additional return of what effectively equates to over 37% in a 6-month period. And this is the power of investor leverage. So I've talked about this previously from the point of view of getting third-party investment from other investors. But exactly the same applies to DarwinIA. In fact, DarwinIA is an excellent opportunity for traders to experience investment in a safe environment, but still getting the same huge benefits of investor leverage. But wait, it doesn't stop there. A trader might get this 250,000 for a 6-month period, as we've just seen, but there's nothing stopping them from competing each and every month following this. So in the next month, they might find themselves on the leaderboard again, this time allocating a further 100,000 euros. And equally, this will be for a full 6-month period. So when the previous allocation has ended after month 6, this 100,000 will continue for a further month. And so now the overlapping region here, which is these 5 months, means the trader is actually managing an investment of 350,000 euros. Now, in the month that follows this, maybe the trader doesn't make the leaderboard. They're not in the top 150, so there's no further allocation here. But then the following month, they might find themselves there again, and for example, this might be for 150,000. So for this 3-month period here, they're now managing 500,000 euros. And then just to further illustrate the point, for the following month, when the first allocation ends, they're still managing 250 in this particular example. And so it goes on. Now, as I said before, the maximum allocation, or the actual allocation that's received by the trader, is dependent on a minimum amount in their account. And when I show you the DarwinIA user interface next time, I'll show you exactly where you can find those specific metrics. Now, let's take a look at the ranking. How does a trader get onto this leaderboard? Well, there are primarily 2 factors. What's called the D-score, and also the monthly return. And these 2 have a relatively equal weighting. Now the D-score is a proprietary metric that Darwinex allocates to every Darwin or strategy on the platform. And it measures the quality of the return curve over the last 5 years. And so you can look at these 2 metrics as one being the longer term performance and the other, the monthly return, being the short term, and each of these carry a relatively similar weighting. Now there's one other factor that might affect ranking, and that's regularity. And this means regularity of trading during the current month. But what's it being compared to? It's looking at the activity in your account and comparing it with the average activity from the previous 3 months. And at Darwinex, we don't like to promote over trading, and so you'll get a 100% score in this if this month you've traded at least 80% of that you've done on average for the previous months. So under normal circumstances, you'll reach 100% most months unless you go on holiday, and this won't reduce your overall rating at all. Now, how can you enter DarwinIA? Well, the first criteria is that you need a live trading account. And from that, you need to produce a Darwin. And this is an investable asset that third-party investors can invest in, but also qualifies you for the DarwinIA contest. Now, once your live account has reached a minimum required track record, it's as simple as pressing a button to create your Darwin. What's better, if you have a trading account with another broker, you can actually get a head start, import your track record from an MT4 live account into your Darwinex account, and if that has sufficient track record, then you'll be able to create your Darwin pretty much straight away. Now there are just 2 other criteria that determine whether you can participate in DarwinIA in any particular month. and that's having acceptable correlation and acceptable divergence. Let me explain. Correlation looks at how correlated your account is and the trades that you're placing with other accounts managed on the Darwinex platform. And if the platform determines that you are highly correlated with some of those, then it's only the one with the highest D-score that's allowed to participate. Now, when comparing strategies from other traders, this is a correlation of 0.8 that's the threshold. And so unless you're copying trades from another trader, then you probably don't have anything to worry about here. Now, in terms of correlation with your own strategies, just so that we can be sure you're not trading exactly the same strategy in multiple accounts in order to get onto the leaderboard multiple times, we also set a threshold here of 0.5. And as long as you're below that, again, all of your Darwins will be able to participate. And then the final criteria is having an acceptable divergence, but I'll talk about this in the next episode where I'll show you some examples. Okay, so if you're already competing in DarwinIA, or you might not be but you think it would be an advantageous thing to do, then make sure you tune in to the next episode where I'll be taking you through in detail the new user interface, looking at all of the metrics on there to assist you as you compete in this monthly challenge. If it's already available, you'll see a link to it top right now. But now until next time, trade safe.